going on in this small tiny nation. Every day we getting somebody coming from another nation. Near and far, they come here and they prosper. Hey. Illegal migrants don't care, I wonder if they were invited here. Broken laws. Who cares? Welcome to the Bahamas, where anything goes and the citizens are sitting in the second row whilst everybody else is treated like first class. Now you see why I'm mad. I mean, this feels like an invasion. They come here and doing better than you and me. No expenses paid, tax free. This been going on since 1973. These people been living more independent than me. They don't care about the law, the natural born citizen of this country. Lousy leaders are to blame, always looking for votes, always crying about something to get in. The blame starts for change, time for change, time to free ourselves from citizen oppression. Welcome to the Bahamas, where anything goes and the citizens are sitting in the second row, whilst everybody else is treated like first class. Nah, you see why I'm mad. I thought they said this land was for Bahamians. What a joke, this is worldwide invasion. Come on and take the whole pie. Keep your eye on the leaders though, cause if it gets dark too early, most likely they just sold the sun out the sky. And if the beach look like gold rocks, it's because they sold all the sand. Greedy, lousy politicians, all they good for is selling off our islands, our beautiful Bahama land. I've been tired, time to change it, I'm giving it one more try. Just want a better Bahamas, just need a future for our sons and daughters. This time around I'm voting for the CEO. Anything is better than what I've gotten over the last 25 years. What a mess, I think it's high time Bohemians are first. I see plenty in this country and all of that is mine. Tired of sitting in the back row while everybody else eating the peas and rice. That's why I vote in CEO. Change ain't coming, change is here, change ain't coming. Change ain't coming, change is here, change ain't coming. Change ain't coming, change is here, change ain't coming. Change ain't coming, change is here, change ain't coming.
Whoa, girls, we out doing it.
Yeah, there's only for the first door. My door was already open.
We live in a country where more than 70% of those who are a part of our educational enterprise are the children of illegal immigrants. We have a problem that needs to be addressed. Brethren and sisters, there is a humane way, yes. There is a need for labor force, yes. But we are in an age where in a particular school in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, children of illegal immigrants lift up a particular flag and dare Bahamian students to pass that way because they declare that is their territory. This is what we are up against, and unless somebody is brave enough to say that
Amen. Amen. Right setting.
what happens, for after all, we fought for the Bahamas, for Bahamians, and after 57 years, there ought to be a Bahamian people who are prepared to take charge and to decree and declare that while we celebrate what others have done and while we sympathize with the plight of others, we do not do so at our own peril, for we cannot cut off our nose to spite our face.
Well, Mr. Lincoln Bean, I had to agree with you. I had to wait to agree with you until this shit happened. Well, I started working in the construction sector, and as you could see, I off today. I don't have nothing to do anymore because the Haitians get all the work now. The Haitians get all the construction jobs. So if you was a carpenter and you was work for 200 a day or even 150, you can't make that no more because the Haitians working for 100. So I understand what you're saying, Lincoln. I used to painter, and I actually used to help at work, but I can't get a helper spot right now because too much Haitians on the job. There's nowhere for me to work. But they say that the young Bahamian men, lazy, they don't want to work, but this is why I ain't to work. And I used to skilled painter, and it's hard for me to go on the site and find a skilled painter job because anyway, I go there like $80 a day. Like, I'm a skilled painter. I have all my tools. Why you trying to give me? I just give him $80 a day. Hey, boss, just make it. Yeah, I make it $80 a day. Oh, that's why. Because Haitians taking over. That's it for.
Rock passé! Rock passé! Let me just say that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am you. Yes, sir. And I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all, no, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. You know now.
Are you all ready and willing to go?
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome back to COI Live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our first official show for the new year, but our first in-studio audience show is going to be next week. So we'd love to see you next week in studio, where we're going to continue to educate the Bahamian people and stand up to put Bahamian first in this country. As ladies and gentlemen, the war continues. So we hope that you enjoyed your holidays, you enjoyed spending time with your families, and focusing on what's important to you, and that is the family unit. Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to focus on what's important to all of us, and that is this nation, this one nation that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show, I'm going to start this off with a show about you. I always come and I present a topic and we talk about that. But today, I want to start the year off by answering your questions, by allowing you to call in and discuss or ask us questions about anything that you want to talk about today. This is a question and answer period. Although our topic is the new majority rule. And I'm going to get to that in a minute because we have to understand what's going on. This happens to be the majority rule weekend. And so I would love to say happy majority rule to all of you Bahamians, but actually the majority does not rule in this country. And so personally, I don't celebrate majority rule because it is a farce, it is a fallacy. When the majority truly rules, then we'll get to that. But of course, we'll discuss that in just a minute. Majority rules. Ladies and gentlemen, um, I just have a couple of announcements that I would like to issue, to give out before we get started. Just give me one sec while I get this out for you. And the first announcement, um, okay. So looking forward to them sending me the announcements of so I could read them out. And as soon as I get those announcements, I'll get them to you. But I know that we are going to Abaco. We're going to have a town hall meeting in Abaco, and that's going to be, I think it's on the 21st and 22nd. Don't hold me to it. I'm sure they're going to send that message to me in a second. But we're going to Abaco, and that's going to be about the last week of January. And so we want all of you to come out. We're going to have a meeting in North Island, and we're going to have a meeting in Marsh Harbor. And so we're looking forward to see all of our Abaco supporters to come out and hear what we have to say and express yourselves so that the Bahamas knows what's going on with you and that these things can be addressed. But we want to touch you. We're going to touch the people on every island in this country. With the election coming up in just a few months, the prime minister is going to make some statement tomorrow. Hopefully, he could be saying that either he's resigning or he's calling the election so we can get this over with. But regardless of what he says, we're going to be moving around to the islands and touching all of the islands. We're starting in Abaco. Abaco, we're coming to you first. And so we're starting off 2026 coming to Abaco and coming to you first. And so yes, and so that's what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, also I would I am happy to announce to you that we're going to start the year off right. And we're going to start the year off showing you who's going to be governing this new Bahamas. And we hope that you're actually ready for that, for the people who are going to be governing this new Bahamas. A lot of people says that, okay, everyone knows Lincoln Bain. We want to know who else is there. And so a good question that Sunday coming, but this Sunday, which is the 25th, Sunday the 25th, uh, we is all of you officially releasing our shadow ministers, the defendants, the men and women who are going to be running this country. We're going to show you who we are and what we got and what our plans is for the future of this country. And we're sure that you're going to be pleased. And so, ladies and gentlemen, enough talk. We're not going to spend the next few months just bashing the government. We're going to show you the vision. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Shadow Minister's release, 5 days of vision. And so this is going to be from on the 25th to the 29th. So the 25th, which is the Sunday, the 26th, the 27th, 28th, and the 29th, every single day we're going to be right here at the headquarters with 5 days of vision. And so we're looking forward to seeing you and looking forward to you being a part of this and watching and hearing what we have to say. We're going to show you these qualified Bahamians who are ready to change this nation. Qualified Bahamians who are ready to take us into the new Bahamas. And you can judge them by the shadow ministries. You want to know who is our Minister of Health? Do we qualify to take that over? Who's our Minister of Education? Who is our shadow minister, I should say? of National Security? Who's our shadow minister of works? Who's our shadow minister of tourism? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to present our shadow ministers to you. And from this shadow ministry, you can tell whether we're ready to govern the nation or not. But I know one thing, the people that we have put in power so far, they failed us. Not one single area of this country is operating right. Not one, except tax collection. They have that on point. Ladies and gentlemen, no area, whether it's healthcare, whether it's our energy sector, our attorney general's office, our foreign affairs is being run like a dollhouse, our ministry of finance is dysfunctional and scandalous, national security is an ultimate failure, immigration is a worse failure, the ministry of works, we can't get good roads. We can't get anything working in this country. But we're going to have a ministry of works that works. We're going to have a ministry of work that gets this country working. Who is our shadow minister? That's a good question. Ladies and gentlemen, education. What do I have to say about education? We should be ashamed. Energy, transport. We can't get a good busing system. We have taxi drivers being abused in this country. We don't have a proper ferry system. Although we got some plans for a ferry system that's going to connect every island. And we're ready to launch that on day one. We don't have the social services doesn't work for Bahamians. The foreigners can get $1,200 a month. Bahamians go there and get turned around. National insurance is broken. Housing is dysfunctional. Urban renewal, what is that? Sports, where are we? Our children are begging to represent this country. Economic affairs, what's there for entrepreneurs? The country is failing. Agriculture is the most dismal failure in this country. When we have so much land in two different temperature zones and we can grow anything that can be grown in the world, and we are failing that. Healthcare, tourism, natural resources, the ministry. Where are we? The Ministry of Grand Bahama? What's happening there? More failure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking forward to seeing you, those of you who support us, and those of you just curious. You can come in studio. That's on the 25th to the 29th. We're going to be here every single day. And every day, we're going to read it. It's going to be, sorry, it's Sunday at 5 o'clock. That's Sunday, that's the 25th at 5 o'clock. On the other days at 7 o'clock. All right. And so the weekdays, we'll start at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll start at 7 p.m. Okay. And so Sunday at 5, and the other days, we'll start at 7 p.m. All right. And so we're looking forward to seeing all of you and introducing you to our new shadow ministers. And we're going to do this differently than they've done before. So looking forward to you seeing this and being a part of this and being proud of these people that we bring to the forefront. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the new Bahamas. It's coming. It is coming. All right. I'm going to open the phone line soon, but I'm just going to do some introductory stuff before we get there. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, over the holidays, some people were asking me some questions. They were like, you know, there were some people saying, well, why don't you join up with the FNM? Are you going to be a spoiler for the FNM? They were asking, okay, but look at the by election. You didn't win the by election. What does that mean? Well, let me make this clear to everyone out there. And I'm going to say this to you based on facts, not feelings. A lot of times we kind of judge things off of feelings, what we feel is going to happen, how we feel everyone is going to vote, or what we feel everyone else is going to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little history lesson. by elections have no effect on elections. They are not an indicator of a general election at all. So I want to make that clear to you. Let me break this down for you. Since the 70s, we've had 11 by elections. Nine of them, almost all, was won by the government. Because during by elections, people don't vote against the government. They don't want to vote against the government, and this government is still going to be the government. They don't know if the government is going to know how they vote. People just aren't comfortable doing so. And many people don't turn up to the polls because they feel like it's a waste of time. We're not changing the government. And so if you put someone there who is not in government, what are they going to do? And that's how some people feel. So by election, people always vote for the government. There's only two by elections that the government didn't win. One of them was in Marco City, and that was in the 70s. And at that time, it was a war against Pinland and the Port Authority, and that's the bend or break stuff. And the Port Authority just made it, like it was us against the Pinland administration. And it was difficult for the Pinland administration to win in Marco City at the time. And so 9 out of 11, and really 9 of them was under the independence. Since we've been independent, 9 of 11, the government wins. People don't want to vote against the government. Let me make that clearer to you. When Celinda Pinland resigned in 1997, what happened? We thought that there's no way for the FNM to possibly win in South Andres. That isn't even possible. But guess what happened? The FNM won in a landslide in South Andres when Pinland stepped down in that by-election. But guess what happened after that? The FNM lost in a landslide at the next general election in 2002. So the by-election had nothing to do with the general election. All right, and this is generally the case. And so normally, who wins the by-election normally loses the government. But in any event, no one thought that Pinnacle could lose. It happened again. I'm giving you two specific cases that you could remember easily. When Hubert Ingram resigned in North Abaco, what happened? No one thought that the PLP could ever dream of winning in North Abaco. No one thought that. All right? But guess what happened? The PLP won in a massive landslide in North Abaco, Hubert Ingram's town. And guess what happened in the next general election? The PLP was swept out of office. Even Perry Christie, Shane Gibson, Obi Winchcombe, everyone that you thought could never lose their seat lost their seats. They got wiped out, including in Abaco. And so the by-election had nothing to do with the general election. And so we don't want people getting discouraged, et cetera, saying, oh, I'm disappointed in maybe people, they didn't come out to vote or they didn't vote this way or that way. That's a by-election. And so people are going to vote how they want or not vote in a by-election. But I know one thing. History has shown us that they never vote almost against the government in a by-election. So don't hurt your head, don't worry, don't stress about where we are as a country, where the people are. What I just gave you is the facts. And you can take the facts and you can use that. But I know one thing. As I traverse the streets, people are saying that they're tired. A lot of times they say that, yeah, but these people ain't ready, man. You see what they do in the by-election? I just showed you how by-elections work. And so that's just the way by-elections work. Don't use it as a measuring stick. The people are gonna come out. Yeah, a lot of civil servants aren't gonna come in a golden hours election and vote against the government while still trying to work for them. But guess what? Everyone is coming out because this is the critical one. Everyone is coming out this time. And so, are we gonna be spoilers? No, we're going for the whole hog. We're going to transform this country. That's what we're gonna do. We have to, because if we don't, that's it. There's no Bahamas for Bahamians if the COI doesn't win this next election. That's the seriousness of the matter. This is a must win, not for the COI, for the Bahamas. It's a must win because you have foreigners from all around, from China, from the Philippines, from Mexico, from Canada, from Germany, from Russia. Listen, I feel like the Russian mafia controls the West. I feel like the Chinese are controlling this country. It's not just the Haitians, and the Haitians are coming in and they're getting the contracts and they're getting land and they're getting advantages that Bahamians and our Bahamian young men and young women don't have. It's like this country is starting to be for everyone but us. And there are yet still a lot of people who are so caught up on their party that they don't care. They choose not to see. Their choice not to see. They're intentionally pretending that they can't see what's going on. But I'm going to play this little short clip again for you Bahamian so that you could remember, you can see where we are based on where this country was. And I have to do this to keep reminding the Bahamian people because this one is serious. And I'm going to play this little video and I want you to watch this and see what this country has been through. I'll stay here with you while the video is playing together because this was serious. Again, I remind you of the circumstance and the situation in Fiji.
Asia companies set up many plantations for Fijians to labor at. Others said, whoa, 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 have a heart, Fijian land. We shouldn't make the Fijians serfs on their own territory. We can do so much better. Let's just import Indian slaves. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Indentured Fijian labor was banned and Fijian land was not allowed to be sold to non-Fijians under British rule. Even that magical Fiji water aquifer we saw, that's on a 99-year lease. The Fiji Water Company does not technically own that land. Indians were brought in to work mainly in agriculture, especially in sugar. Sugar was Fiji's cash crop before they realized they could sell water to hipsters, making up over 50% of their exports for most of its history, particularly selling it to Europe through the government-owned Fiji Sugar Corporation. It worked to keep native Fijians, also called Itauke, on top of the Indo-Fijians. Even today, they make up the bulk of the low-paying jobs and agricultural sector in Fiji, even some parts having separate communities to live in. When it was time for independence in 1970, the population was split rather 50-50. Fijian politics was...
I want you to look carefully at this graphic that's in front of you. I'm just going to go back a little bit so you can see it. Look carefully at this graphic on the screen right there. It actually shows you the parties. So there's the Alliance Party, there's the National Federation Party, and those were the two major parties. And then there's some other parties. I can't see it too well from my screen. There's some other parties there. You can read them on your screen. In fact, I'll put it up over here. Right. So I want you to look at the names of these parties. Oh, there. Okay. Still can. Fijian, I think that's Independence Party, kind of like the Coalition of Independence. And then there's the Independents, right? So that was the breakdown. So basically, they were a two-party, and they were focused on their two parties, the AP and the NFP. And so people, my Grammy was an AP. Some people, my daddy was an NFP, and that's all they were focused on. And they weren't paying attention to the Indians that were coming up. All right, the Indians were coming up and being born, and they were the manual labor. No one ever thought about them. No one thought that they could ever be significant in their country, and everyone was just tied up worrying about their party. And guess what? You had these independents and independence movement that was coming up and saying, "Hey, you all pay attention to what's going on. We're losing everything to foreigners. Everything's been given away. Look at these Indians, they're coming. Oh, you're xenophobic. How could you say that? These are our people. They are Fijian too. They have rights just like you. They were born here. They couldn't help where they were born. They've never even been to India. And they were being warned but no one was listening. Everyone was celebrating and shaking the pom poms and celebrating. Let's keep listening.
Indian politics was dominated by the Itauke, yet from a growing Indian population, the 1987 election was won by an Indian-dominated coalition. That didn't bode.
So eventually, an Indian dominated coalition, so not just one, a bunch of them, decided to put themselves forward and they won. They won big. Before that election, what was happening was every election, the two political parties would pander to the Indians and try to get their vote and promise them, hey, I'm one of you. I'm one of you. Hey, I'm going to look out for you. Vote for us. Because we make sense. And then the Indians would say, hey, we voting for this one this time. Oh, we voting for that one that time. But this time in 1987, the Indians were quiet and they just sent their people to vote. And guess what people did? They kind of laughed at that. Where do you think they going? Ain't none of us. But again, you going with your thick accent. Where you come from? Man, you's Indian. Fijian. And they laughed at them. But the Indians laughed at the Poles. And they took over the country. Keep listening.
Well with Itauke politicians. 4 coups. Fiji has had 4 coups since 1987. 2 actually in 1987 after Itauke protested and members of the ruling party were arrested. They went to military rule, then slight democracy in the 90s, and an Indian prime minister won in 2000s.
So they had to have coup d'etats. The people had to rise up. The military had to come and say, listen, man, you all people, come with us. We can't let this happen. I don't know if our police and military are ready for that. But you know what's happening in our country is our police and military is being infiltrated. And they had to take their country back. And one of the reasons they were arresting the Indian leaders was immediately when and so the people had that. They should not have fallen for the two-party system. They should not have fallen for the fact that, well, my Grammy voted for this, so I don't care what's going on around, so I'm just voting for this because Grammy voted for it. They ended up having to have 2 coup d'etats because the Indians took back over, and then they had to have another coup, and then they hadn't stopped. I'm going to end the video right there. That's not where it ends, but I think this story is so familiar to us because that's where we are. This election is like the 1987 election in Fiji. You have to make a decision. On the one hand, you have a man who says that he is of another descent, not of this Bahamas. He says he's one of them. And he always looked out for them and he always will look out for them. On the other hand, you have another man who has been fighting for them. That's Michael Pintard, who has been fighting with Fred Smith to ensure that you couldn't arrest and deport these illegal immigrants. You couldn't march down the shanty towns and remove them. He was fighting with Fred Smith on his side to make sure, as Fred Smith was born in Haiti, Michael Pintard is of Haitian descent on both sides. And so he looked out for the people that he has an affinity to. And then on the other side, you have some raw-born Bahamians who just want to see Bahamians put first in this country, who don't want to see another Bahamian young man saying, Lincoln Bain, you was right. I don't want you to wait until after the election when it's too late to say Lincoln Bain was right. Like how right now we're saying, boy, Loftus Roker was right. Loftus Roker is now in his mansion in heaven. He's straight. How are you going to leave this country for your children? Some people say that we're xenophobic. We're not xenophobic. We just want Bahamians first. No, we want other people to come and work in our country. But guess what? Fiji made one mistake. And that's a mistake that countries like Dubai and Qatar and the United Arab Emirates and other places Realize. And so they made it so you can't get citizenship in their country. If you're not born a citizen, you will never become a citizenship. There's no naturalization. If Fiji had done that, then they can let the Indians come and work there to their heart's content. Come and work all you want. Come take care of our yards, take care of our children. Work and work and work and let us own the country. But no, they didn't think about that part. That hold on. Majority rules. Do you know what that means, Bahamas? Majority rules. Whoever is the majority and whoever identifies, when you have a people and a people who identify as a certain culture, they're going to rule. That's just a reality. I don't hate anyone. I want as much foreigners as possible to come and work for us. I want to flood the country with foreigners working for us. I have no problem with that. Come, come, come. Come to the Bahamas. Come work for Bahamians. But I don't want us, one, working for them, because the problem is they ain't hiring us. Where are we going to be? Where are your children going to be? They're not getting the jobs. What is left for them to do? Leave the country? Then this is going to be a new Bahamas with a new majority because we are going to be pushed out. Because the foreigners are hiring foreigners. And the foreigners are getting all of the business and job opportunities. So the question is, what you gonna do? You gonna vote for that? You're gonna allow two leaders of foreign descent to transform this nation? Again, we don't hate nobody. We just saying in our country we should be first. Let me just say, in Jamaica, Jamaicans should be first. Bahamians should not have any advantage in Jamaica that Jamaicans don't have. In America, Americans should be first. In Haiti, Haitians should be first. But in the Bahamas, Bahamians should be first, man. Why are we bad? Because that's what we think. Because that's how it should be. All of those other countries have policies to protect their citizens and their nation and their sovereignty. People are asking me about Venezuela and sovereignty over there. I'm concerned about sovereignty right here because we are losing this nation every single day. We're losing it. Our sovereignty is being taken over. When you look at the papers, people are taking our names, taking our identity, taking everything from us. The new majority. The new majority. A lot more to talk about. CIA 5. So you get the complexity of where we came from and where we go in. What is the community looking at as it relates to this country? Is the government allowing immigration to take over? What about drug dealing and officials getting caught up in drug dealing? What's really happening? Let's have a history lesson today. Some people say they don't feel the COI could win the whole thing. They believe we could win a few seats. Well, no one thought Pillin could win initially. No one thought Ingram could win. No one thought Brave Davis could win. No one thought Hubert Minnis could win. We're not about that. We're not doing this because we think we could win. We're doing this because we think this is the right thing to do. Win, lose, or draw. We stand up. We got to fight. We got to fight because we're losing this one little nation that we have. This is it. I go open the phone lines now, and then I'm gonna plug in these CIA documents that I want to read. It's gonna be very interesting. Uh, let's see if we get two phone lines up for y'all. Okay. We got two phone lines today. Let me put the two numbers there so while one is talking, one could be on hold. Just give me a sec. Let me get both numbers up on the screen for you. So we could hear from you. This is the beginning of the year. What are the things that concern you going into this new year? What are the things that you want to see? What questions do you have? What about your family? You're talking to some family members, they say, okay, I have this concern about the COI. Let's talk about it. All right. And so just want to get this other number up there for you. All right. Here we go. All right, you got two numbers to call in. That's 8035995, 8035995, or 822-LINK, like my name, LINK, 822-LINK. And so that's the numbers right below on the screen, right down there. So that's 8035995, the usual number, or 822-LINK, which is 5465. All right. 822-5465. Those are the phone numbers. Call in and let me know what you think. We're in the new year. We're starting this year off right. We got some stuff to talk about. Okay, this link number isn't up yet. What's going on? Okay, so 8035995 is up. We're just waiting for this other number to come up. We don't know what's going on. It looked like it started to update right now. But 8035995 is up. I'll tell you when the other one is up and make sure that we get sound on this. Okay, perfect. There we go. 8035995. That's one of the numbers. Oh man, what's happening there? Okay, hold on. We got to start over. Okay, there we go. Okay, we only got one number. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening here. 8035995 is the number we got today. 8035995. That's the number we got. So sorry about that. I can't get that other number up for you. I just started to go berserk. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, call in. Nobody call yet. Call in. What do you want to talk about? What do you have to say? What questions do you have? You've been talking to your family members. What have they been saying? What's your concerns and what's going on? This is the first live for the year. Oh boy! And so we're looking forward to hearing from you. All right, I'm gonna get to those CIA papers in a minute. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bain.
How you doing?
I'm fine with yourself.
Awesome, man.
Man, welcome back. You know the nation was waiting for you to return.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. The word on the street is immigration.
Mhm.
Many people are very concerned with the state of affairs of immigration. They
Yes.
say with our government, somehow we renovate the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the key point, and I think that's going to be the key issue for this upcoming election. You know, they seem like the government don't care that it be
It is.
but I pray that the COI are actually patriots who are looking out for the well-being of this country for generations to come.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you to continue to fight the good fight, sir. God is with you. Continue pressing forward to the mark.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, God bless.
All right. Yeah, I think that we have a couple serious issues in this country. I think one of them is immigration, because it affects so many different things, and we're not going to let go of that. Another one is definitely healthcare and crime. We have a nation that is under siege, and so we got to fix this. All right, we got to fix this. All right, I'm going to go into some interesting documents. I'm gonna go into some interesting documents. Um, I'm a student of history, and I like to study what's going on. All right, let me take this call. Good afternoon, caller. You live?
Good afternoon, my presidents. How are you doing?
I am awesome. Happy New Year to you.
Merry New Year and Happy Christmas to you too. Listen, I like the open topic and what's happening, right? But yesterday in the downtown area in Freeport, right?
Hmm.
We were doing a little bit of canvassing, and yesterday I was walking by and I heard this conversation between an elderly lady, and a middle-aged gentleman, and they were talking about the price of the food and how the company is the same, right? So I walked and I was talking. I said, okay, see what's on my back? Look what's on my back. I said, the change is here. And the young lady, the elderly lady, man, listen, she was gung ho. She just all out for the COI.
Hmm.
And the gentleman Holland said, well, the COI is only, how do I want to put it? He's like, the COI is just another party for the PLP, right? And I'm like, really? I said, that's how you think? That's what you feel? He said, Mom, that's how I see it. So you'll be just a cover up for the PLP. I said, really? I said, anyway, let me tell you something, sir. Let's forget about the PLP. Let's forget about the FNM. Let's forget about the COI. Now, when I said that, he was taken aback, right? I said, yeah. I said, let me tell you something. This is your country. This is your country. Now, whatever you decide to do, it's based on you. Okay? The COI ain't got nothing to do with you, the PLP, nor the FNM, but this is your country. Now, if you feel satisfied with the way that things is going right now, guess what? That's one is on you. Man, Mr. Bain, after I said that to him, he said, Mom, you just said a mouthful. He said, thank you very much. He said, I never look at it that way. I said, no, you're not going to look at it that way. Why? Because you're so gung-ho on party. You're gung-ho on colors. But just remember, this is your country.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've heard some people out there saying that the COI is for the PLP and some nonsense like that. Let me make it unequivocally clear. Uh, we do not carry any water for anyone but the Bahamian people. The PLP has arrested COI members, beaten them like dogs on the beach and on the streets, kicked and dragged them, including me, threw them in jail cells with feces smeared on the walls and urine on the ground. Crimes against humanity. If anyone in this country thinks for 1 second that I could watch those elderly women, some of them who weren't even out there with us, be dragged and body slammed and thrown in buses, literally physically thrown. I don't just mean put in the buses. I mean picked up and thrown on the bus and landing in the bus. And if you think for 1 second that this is some kind of game, that we are going to carry water for that party, you must be out of your minds. I sat in a jail cell for more than the required time. Some of those women, the younger of them, had their monthly cycle on and would not be allowed to tend to their monthly cycle or get the supplies that they needed. I did not get my medication that I needed at the time. If anyone thinks out here that we have any deal to make, they must have lost their minds. We have one goal, and that is to take this country back and give it to the Bahamian people. Do you think we want any of these parties to carry on for another day? I can't take another day of them. We are the first third party, in my opinion, that is not sold out. You might describe it as major third party. The CDR sold out. The PLP and F&M split them. Bernard Nodage, you come back here. Charlie Maynard, you and Fenton, you go over there. Split them up. The BDM, Cassius, you go over. Yeah, come to the F&M. The rest of y'all, we want you. Oh, NDP, Renwood and Andre, y'all come to the PLP. We've been standing firm. I have been made offers, and I refused it. Offers that could have made my grandchildren comfortable. I refused it. I've been offered positions. I've refused it. Don't mix me up. If it's one thing that I will never do, that is sell out. One thing that I'm known for from when I was a child, if I believe in something, I'm going to stand for that. And you got to kill that to get that out of me. You got to kill me to get that out of me. I stand up for what is right, regardless of the consequences. So I'm not here carrying water for the PLP or the F&M. I'm sorry. That will not happen. No, they ask that because they believe that we're going to take votes from the F&M and cause the F&M to lose. The only people saying that are people that want this crooked, demented F&M to get back in power, to empower the rich, the hollow West Coast of this country, the Brent Simonets of this country, while we suffer and get nothing. And then they're going to tell us again, next time for y'all. Every time they get in. See, they're trying to make you think that the PLP and F&M is different. I'm going to read some CIA papers to you in a second, some of them, so that you can see that the foreigners know the F&M and the PLP is one. The foreigners know that the two of them crooked. Only Bahamians don't seem to realize that. Or they know and they don't care. People say, why do you talk about the F&M and the PLP as the government? We just need the PLP gone. That's how we get swing every time. That was the plan of Ingram and Christie from the break, to make you swing hard from one to the next. And they stay in power. They make you think they're against each other. They working together. They partners in this whole thing. And now their third partner has stepped up. Let me remind you, working for the PLP, if we work for the PLP, we're working for the PLP and F&M because they won. Only some of you are fooled to think that the F&M is something different from the PLP. They business partners. We've shown you documents to prove that. And we pretend it isn't happened. Ingram could stand up and say, if I don't have it, Perry will have it in the House of Assembly. That sounds like an enemy to you. They're working together. He letting you know, and they're laughing at you while they're saying it. Because they know the Bahamians ain't catching on. Please, the NIB board with Ingram name on there. Pull up. Hubert Ingram's son. And he say, man, Ingram, he said, my daddy and Perry Christie own one right there. Say they've been working together. Only Bahamians don't see what's right in front of them. And that's why they get rich every time and they keep us poor. Ingram and Christie are in this together. The FNM and PLP are following in this. The PLP and UBP are still in control. The UBP controls the finances, the PLP controls the political. They do it together. And they're supposed to do everything together like a mafia. Whatever is done, we gotta all of us gotta get a piece of this pie. And the only time you'll see them have any indifference is when one get left out. Like when the PLP tried to sell BTC to themselves. And they gonna come and say, I pulling that back. And he found a loophole in the law to do it. Because they were supposed to share everything that happens. And that's why Ingram had to take it and sell it to a foreign company. You see? Otherwise, he gotta make sure that everyone gets a piece of that pie. Hold the line call, I'll be right with you. Every election, one of them will start acting so crazy. Hubert Ingram, he started acting crazy. Oh, it's one man band. He's doing this on his own. He don't even need a deputy. He's doing his own thing. To make you have to swing hard to Christie so there's no chance of anyone else getting in there. They only want puppets in the house so that they can do what they want and no one can challenge them. Then Perry would get in and you say, oh, they so weak, they so corrupt, oh, they gotta go back to Ingram. They say, oh, third parties, we ain't worrying with y'all this time. Next time for y'all. This time, this one just gotta go, man. This one's so bad, they got to go. We just gotta get this. We just gotta get Christie out of here. We just gotta get Ingram out of here. You can't have him no more. And it's always so urgent, and they make it so urgent, and you say we can't try nothing right now. This one, we can't end up with another 5 years of this one. Let's swing hard to his best friend. And then you get back to Christie. And then Christie start insulting God and sticking up his middle finger, insulting the pastors. And then you say, oh, Lord, Christie them just got to go. They so corrupt. Let's go to Menace. Like, oh, my God, Menace worse than all of them. Okay, Menace them make the rich richer. Brent Simonet gets $60 million in contracts in the first year. The seemingly broke ethics, probably even the law, with that post office deal. Brent admitted to that. He told Minister that would be a problem. He said, okay, I'll take the money since you got it for me. Minister came looking for him to give him money. Did y'all pay attention to that? He said he was in Mexico, minding his own business. First thing in the morning, Minister called him and say, man, I want to give this post office to you. How you could do that? That's like a conflict. Don't worry about that. I'll handle that. We'll just put it in the do it to the House of Assembly, and that covered. There you go. Okay then, I'll take it. Like Minister went looking for the wealthy to give money to, and guess what? He's their partner in the Bohingi, the fast ferries. These fellas, Minister them was giving our heritage sites to themselves, Bahamas. They was taking all our forts and every other heritage site we have. They're going to now charge a tourist straight from the cruise ship to come and go to these stuff like going to Disney World. And they're going to make all that money. And you talking about the PLP corrupt? Menace, call out, just hold the line for 1 sec. Menace and them did an illegal deed. They created a COVID visa for Bahamians. The Constitution does not allow a Bahamian to be denied entry into this country for any reason. Any reason. That COVID visa was unlawful in my opinion. That was illegal. And then the funds from it was going to someone, Minister and people. wasn't it? The PLP does things with the criminal underworld, right? So you see it and you get offended more easily. They steal on a petty level. The F&M steals on a major level. They'll take our crown land and everything and give the whole industry to their people, the whole industry to their people, and make us pay for it. That's how they steal when they get in. There's no relief by leaving the PLP and going to the F&M. Wake up, Bahamas. We tried that before. If you think that you're going to get anything different by going to the F&M, in 2 months, everyone crying. Oh, he said gotta go. Oh, Pintard gotta go. Pintard gotta. I'm gonna say this one more time. Caller coming in a minute. Ingram, Christie, Davis, and Co. Whenever Ingram wanted to protect his two partners, he did so politically. In 1990, they had a by-election in Cat Island. That's when Ingram took over as the F&M leader. He should have challenged that. He should have gone in there and challenged that. Showed up for the fight. Test the waters. But Brave was running. So he sent Brave there to run and didn't challenge him. Just let him walk right in. Brave went in without a challenge. That was Ingram. Some people say, oh, he just didn't want to, waste time because election was 2 years away, etc. That's 2 years. He didn't do it because that's his partner who campaigned with him when he left the PLP. Next, in 97, Ingram wanted to make sure that Perry Christie got straight in Centerville. So guess what he did? He sent Pintard to run against him. I want you to remember that. Pintard was sent to run against him, and we are told that he was told, don't go hard. And as you can see, Pintard didn't go hard against Christie. He was just there. That was to make sure Christie got in. And then Christie was solidified. He wanted to make sure that Brave could hold and no one could go against him hard in Cat Island because there was some rumbling in Cat Island. Guess who Ingram sent to Brave? Pintard. And he sent Pintard to run against Brave Davis. And we believe he was told, don't go hard. To make sure Brave Davis won. And what it was, twice? Brave Davis is now the leader of the PLP, leader of the country. Ingram them, who campaigned for Brave last time, Ingram them want to make sure that Brave gets his 2 terms. You see? And so guess who Ingram makes leader of? Guess who Ingram makes leader of the F&M? Pintard, to go run against Brave. And I believe he was told, don't go hard, because Pintard isn't going hard against Brave. When he first became leader, he was doing nothing. He was just sitting back. People had to tell him, man, the COI out there doing this and doing that. Why you don't do something? His own F&Ms was telling him that, man, you look bad. Look at Lincoln them. They all about, they relevant. You sitting there doing nothing. Then he came and had the fake protests against Keith Bell. And then they caught him shaking and loving and hugging and kissing Keith Bell. Like, all us is one. So all he does is ask questions, but he doesn't take any action. He felt like, just go say you asked questions about it so they could say you doing something. Oh, he spoke to this, he spoke to that. Spoke to? You're the PAC. Don't ask them what they're doing with the money. Subpoena them. But he ain't gonna do that. Not him. because he ain't supposed to go out. Only all F&M's being fooled by what's happening. Ingram them still tricking the Bahamian people. Ingram is dismantling the F&M from the inside. Why do you think he go on to the by-election on that stage and spank up Pintard? Oh, I tell him don't run. You ain't listening. He made that statement as a little spank to destabilize. See, Pintard boy, look at he don't listen to advice. They are picking the candidates that's going to be controversial. They are cursing out their own party supporters. I had a conversation with a party supporter recently. Strong, staunch. Used to be raising all kind of money for the F&M. And they were like, man, this ain't the F&M I grew up in. This ain't it. This ain't it. So if you all think that the relief is going to come from the F&M, sad to be a cry. Let's just try something different. Let me take this call and I can show you all some more stuff. Caller, you live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller, you live. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm awesome, man. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted 2 points here. I'm listening to you and you were talking about F&M and the PLC, which was. I want to go back to. Do you remember when the phase 2 of the Atlantis was going on? Do you remember that?
Yes.
They were blocking the bridge because the workers was very disgruntled about their pay and how they were being treated.
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, I was working on the inside. I was brought in from Texas. I'm a Bahamian. I was brought in from Texas by Baker Construction. I was in a meeting, and there was a meeting going on. F&M, people was controlling everything. Parkinson's name. I remember his last name, Parkinson.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there was a contractor out of Fort
No,
Lauderdale someplace, white contractor. And he was looking for people to hang fire on.
Thank you.
This quick. He said he would pay. He said, well, I want to pay him. What should I pay him? And we ended up in a meeting. And he says, well, I can pay him what the law requires or whatever it's supposed to be. He said, I'll start him off at $25 an hour. Or maybe $30 an hour. Mr. Parkinson stood up in the meeting. He said, no, you ain't going to do that. You're not going to do that. And he said, well, I'm sorry. He said, I didn't mean to insult anybody. He said, what do you think I should pay him? He said, you pay them less than that. You pay them $15 an hour because if you pay them more than that, they're not going to work Bahamian. They're not going to want to work over the hill. That's when I stood up. And I don't know you. But let me tell you one thing. When you go against Bahamians like that, you're not a Bahamian. This man was a big controller of the F&M party. And I wasn't part of politics, but I knew who he was.
Wow.
After that, Mr. Bain, they asked me, the big contractor came to me and said, listen, I don't want any problems here in this country. He said, we're going to give you a ticket so you can fly back to the U.S. if you want to. We can't make you go back because you're a Bahamian. He said, but you can't stay on the job because I stood up to Mr. Parkinson. And I'll never forget his name later. And I told him, you cannot do that to my people. Okay, this is the F&M. And then our next little quick one is Mr. Davis down in Morris Island giving people land, deeds to land. One gentleman, they said he's either 80 or 90. Oh, he's been waiting all his life for his deed. Mr. Davis, this is the eve of election. This man been waiting all his life, and you give him a deed to land at 90 years old? That was ridiculous and an insult. Bahamians need to wake up, stop dreaming. These people mean us no good. I work for top companies over the U.S. And I was glad to come back home and keep. But when I come back home under this type of condition with these type of government, if many Bahamians like myself willing to work, folks. You don't have to be educated. Just have common sense. Just have common sense, Raymond.
Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing me back. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. He mentioned the PLP giving out some land in Morris Island. Yeah, I'm so happy that those people got deeds to their land. There are 30,000 Bahamians who applied for Crown land. That's not the generational land yet. That's a Crown land. And so, of course, what the government is going to do, because they saw that we have been pushing for this whole time, they could give out land to some people, but they could give out land to every single Bahamian. And waiting until a couple months before election to do it, make them suffer the whole term. If you could do that now, you could have done that in year one. You made them suffer so they could feel like you did something for them, and they vote for you because of that. And we keep falling for that. But anyway, that's our land. The government don't own that. They're only managing that for us. That's not a gift. That's our things. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Hey, Lincoln. Good evening, man. Great show.
Thank you.
Always educating the people, but I just had to call you because I just hung up the phone with some friends, and they happen to be yellow and red. And I asked them a question. I said, if they could now give out title to land in Moores Island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why could they not do what you said to do and give every single organic or indigenous Bahamian an acre of land? Here's the proof where they could do it.
They can't.
Of course they could. But people say, oh, they can't do that. Well, they just did it, didn't they, in Moores Island, giving the people title to land. And I want to know, since they're in such a generous mood, would they consider giving every Bahamian 1 acre of Crown land before the people vote? Because you surely will do it after we vote.
Yeah.
So if they had sense, they would do it before we go to vote. Not that we could vote for them, you know.
Because that's ours.
Yes, but you see, the conundrum, if they do it, you get the credit.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, it can get done when you get in, and it might cause them to not get the credit, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, they can do it. I want the nation to know we have example in Moores Island how they can give you title to the land. So let's go and do it for everybody. We got a couple months before election. Anyway, we can talk later. Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks. All right. I'm going to play this clip by Hubert Ingham. He was asked a question at the F&M headquarters about the PLP and the F&M at this time. And what's the difference between the PLP and F&M? I want you to hear this from Ingram himself.
Minister. So the question that I would like to ask Ingram, if he could describe it, how would you describe the political philosophy as it compares to the PLP? We talked a lot about differences tonight, but I'm curious to know your perspective on where that biggest philosophical lies.
So I don't know what the differences are nowadays, but you know, because honestly, because the differences between the F&M and the PLP became more and more difficult to design during the last F&M administration than before. That's the reality, you know. I never knew. What I did know is that they were more likely to go against what we had done before, and more likely to do what the PLP had done than they did with us. He is not going to carry my things anywhere. and if I can't get it, you'll have it.
That's a witch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. There's no difference between the FNM and the PLP, and I don't know what people have to see. There's some people who feel that the COI can only go so far. Maybe they get a couple of seats. For those people who believe that, I believe that we're going to win the whole thing. For those people who believe that, we had done a video before the election. I'm going to play that video kind of logic about, okay, let's say that that is the case. I want you to learn your history and learn majority rule. If you give third party or independents enough seats, they could keep the government honest. The rest of that Fiji video that I didn't play, there's a new party called now Fiji First. Like how we say Bahamas First, Fiji First. And that's the only party that wins now. Because now everyone catch themselves and they realize the old parties was looking out for themselves, making themselves rich, and the foreigners. And now only the Fiji First party wins. But there was a time when there was a balance of power, and it's happened in many countries where the third party determines who is the government, and that causes the government to think twice before they do anything. The audio from this is from a speech that I did. Me and Wayne Monroe was invited. This before the 2021 election to speak at this town hall meeting, and that's where the audio came from. But I want you to watch this and think about this, and let's discuss it. And then we're going to get to those CIA files.
Situation, aggravation, everybody suit on the news, everybody gone, bang, bang, shot dead, everybody gone. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
Every election, we've been swinging from one side to the next. We've been changing government, all right? So the staunch political supporters, they don't come, all right? Their vote doesn't come. It is the independent voters that change the election every time. All right? The independent voters, they call them the swing voters. All right? So they're the ones who go to the poll every year and swing the election and then get swinged. Because shortly after the election, they realize, hold on, this crew the same as the last crew. This crew is now tyrannical and they're secretive and they're cutting deals with their people. And what do we do? And we keep swinging back and forth and back. And right now we're to the point where we're like, okay, minutes got to go. But where do we go? Do we go back to the PLP? Do we just move from there? What do we do? And we feel like there's no solution. We feel like there's no hope. Like, okay, we go back to Brave. And I know Brave will cut some deals to somebody. And he can do the same things. And he ain't going to listen to us. He ain't answer no questions. What do we do? There is a solution. There is a solution. I need to understand this. And this is a big secret that they've been keeping from you for a very long time. There's a big cover-up. All right, and it is the reason why Sir Lyndon Pinland called a quick election, a quick snap election almost, right after they won in 1967. He called it not a quick election right in 68 because of this big secret. And all of your parliamentarians have been hiding this from you since 1967. You don't have to wait for 5 years to change the government. What we need, listen very carefully to me. What we need is enough independent persons in the House of Assembly to be able to change the government at any time. If you have enough independent persons in there, you can change the government at any time. This has happened before the series. Look at this.
After the last votes were counted late that night, the results of the historical election ended in a dead heat. UBP, 18 seats. PLP, 18 seats. One independent candidate, Alvin Brannan in Harbor Island, and one Labour candidate, Randall Fox in St. Barnabas.
Lyndon Pinland offered the independent representative, Brannan, the speakership. He accepted. The Speaker had no vote except when the House was tied. Contending forces remained 18-18. Labour leader Randall Fox was in his St. Barnabas district listening to the plaudits of his adherents, when, so he says, Premier Simonet himself paid him a personal visit.
Sir Rowland Simonette was accustomed to having people come to him. He knew, and so did Fox, that the revolution hinged on a solitary vote. If Bates Street boys could bring Randall Fox to their side, at any price, Pinling and his colored government was stillborn. Name your terms, the Premier said. Whatever it is, we will meet it.
Fox could name his terms to the Premier of Her Majesty's government. Would he ask $1 million or $500,000 and a ministry? The Negro said he was sorry. He had decided to go along with Pinling. He had no terms, no price. It was incredible. The answer was no.
This gave Pinling a speaker and a 1918 majority in the House. Sir Rowland and his government resigned.
On January 12th, the Tribune reported an informal meeting between Pinling and the governor, Sir Ralph Grey, to discuss the constitutional situation resulting from the election. Pinling told the press he had no doubt that they would have little difficulty in forming a new government. Asked about the possibility of a coalition government with the UBP, he replied,
"No such chance."
On Saturday, January 14th, Pinling was officially invited to Government House by the governor to form a new government. A statement from Government House said that the governor, in exercise of his responsibility under the Constitution, has concluded that Mr. Pinling is a member of the House of Assembly who is best able to command the confidence of the majority of the members of the chamber, and who is willing to accept the office of Premier. Sir Rowland Simonette informed the governor that he was no longer able to command the support of the majority of the House members, and was therefore resigning his office. Under the new administration, Sir Rowland Simonette would become leader of the opposition.
In 1967, all right, that was January 10th, they had an election. The UBP had 18 votes. The PLP had 18 votes. And there was an independent, Alvin Brennan, who they made the speaker, so his vote doesn't count. And then there was one man. Majority rule was not about the power of the majority. It was about the power that one man displayed. And there was one man, and that one man decided who would be the government. And he decided to go with the PLP, but guess what? The next week, he could have written a letter to the Governor General and said, I no longer support the PLP, I support the UBP, and the government will change again. And then he could go back the next week and say the government. Because he had the power to change the government instantly. This is the only thing that will keep them honest. Can you imagine if you have enough independence in the House of Assembly to change the government, when they come and say, now we're going to raise back to 15%, the independents say, that's what you think, tomorrow we have a new government, you'll be gone. That is the only thing that will keep them honest, because that is the only thing they fear. You never notice how they start sucking up to you when that 5-year contract starts running out, and they start loving up on you, and all of a sudden you got their cell phone, you can call them anytime? Because that's when they have the power. But they don't want you to know that if you put enough independence and give them the power, that they could be removed at any time. And that's why Pinling called a quick election to take that power away from Randall. Because he wants the control. You have the power. You have to think differently this time. This is the solution. It will keep them honest. This is going on right now in 9 countries around the world. They have independents and they have third parties that have enough seats to change the government. So in order to form the government, they have what they call a coalition government. In 79 countries, including the UK, in Wales. Did you know that in Canada, Justin Trudeau, do you know that that is a third party? Just the president of, the Prime Minister of Canada, he's from a third party. This happens in Australia. This is happening right now in New Zealand. I'm giving you examples of Commonwealth countries with Western system like ours. All right? Yes, Germany, Spain. It's happening all over Asia. This is the power that everyone else understands. But they kept this from us. They don't talk about that. Keep that hush hush. This is the only way you're going to get power, because as long as you put someone there, even if they have one vote more than the opposition and they could do whatever they want, you could go to hell until the next 5 years because you can't touch them. And that is where their arrogance comes from. But you have a chance and to vote sensibly, vote smartly. Yes, we want this administration gone, but this is the most corrupt administration that I have ever seen, and the most incompetent administration that I've ever seen. But we have to do it wisely this time. We need to vote for individuals, and we need to put enough persons in there that they could be like Randall Fox and have the power of Randall Fox, and his legacy can live on. To where when they do their corruption, listen to me, the day after Brent Simner came and made that announcement that, yeah, we did this corrupt deal, this supposed to be gone. Letter to the Governor General, and you're gone. Or force an election. That is the solution. We got to do this different this time, and we got to vote different this time.
He is not going to carry my things anywhere. and if I can't get it, you'll have it.
That's a witch. That's a witch.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Um, okay, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that I was doing a whole diatribe and could not be heard. I'm so sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties with the camera and we put it back on and the audio didn't come on. So it's on now, right? Yes, it'll take a second to catch up. So it should be back on now. Let me try. I know this person is calling to tell me they can't hear me, but okay. So now we back up. So thank you for calling in. Thank you all offsite producers. I listen. I did a whole diatribe just now. I wish I could have you hear exactly what I was saying. But I was talking about the situation. Hold on one sec. Call you live. Go ahead.
President, online, we can't hear no volume. You mute it on.
Yeah, the volume is back up now.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so sorry about that. I was talking about the one thing that Pinland and those really fears. The one thing they fear is what you saw happen there with Randall Fox. They fear the reason Pinland went straight back to election in 68, months after the 67 election. It wasn't about the UBP, it was about Sir Randall Fox. He didn't want Sir Randall Fox to have that power. And so he wanted to take that from Sir Randall because any day Sir Randall could change the government. And Sir Randall was kind of demanding, he wanted things to be done the right way and there was no challenges and whatever. And so he called that and then destroyed Sir Randall Fox after all what Sir Randall Fox did. And you all know I admire Sir Randall Fox. He destroyed him politically and finished him off. And so that's what that was about. That's what they really fear. Their biggest nightmare is us in the House of Assembly. And so that was done, that video was done before we had even intended to run, before we'd even talked about being a party. We weren't even Bahamian Evolution yet. We were trying to educate the public to show them the real power. Stop swinging hard. Stop letting them trick you by saying, oh, this government got to go. This government got to go. We just got to get rid of them. Don't put nobody else. Let's just swing hard to the other side and give them all the power to destroy us for the next 5 years. What's happening? Okay. And so that's what really has been happening. We have to have a balance. And if you look at Fiji's government now, you'll see that there's a balance. There's several parties in there. Now, the Bahamian First Party is always the majority, but there's other parties that balance it off. And this is where we have to take it in this country. So if you don't believe that we're going to get the whole log, get some of our people in there to hold their foot to the fire. Don't you think that'll work out good for you? But I believe we're going to get the whole log because I believe Bahamians are waking up. I believe in you, Bahamas. I believe that you are wide awake and you want to see some difference in this country. All right. So, again, sorry about the technical difficulties. One of our cameras went down. And when it came back up, the audio went off with it. All right. So, I'm going to go to some of these CIA documents because I want you to see some things. We're going to study some stuff here. All right. We still got some time. Call you live. Go ahead. Yes, you're live.
The registration.
1 sec for me. We got disconnected for a second. Just give me.
situation. I got
Okay, we lost sound there for a second. Um, don't know what's happening there. I'm so sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties. Hold the line one sec, caller. To get to you in a sec. The gentleman was talking about all these people who are just getting our passports who are now voting. You can check the sound. I think it should be up now. Those persons who are now voting, we're going to be voting and just get our passports. One thing I can say, it's only up to Bahamians to do what they supposed to do, the right thing. We still have the majority at this time. Hold the line, caller. I'll be right with you. We still have we still have the majority at this time. After this election, we will no longer have the majority. And that is why we have to come in to office and change the law to what Dubai and Qatar and those countries have. We have to change the law so that there will be no more naturalizations. Persons can get permanent residency, et cetera, in our country, but they can't vote and they will not be able to run for office in our country. But if they want to contribute to our country, they can come and work with us and be here. But we have to protect our nation. Now, since the last register, last time they had 194 plus thousand persons that voted. Now they have 195,000 persons not voted, registered. Sorry, not voted, registered. Now they have 195 plus thousand persons registered. That means that it only increased by about 1,000, just under 1,000 persons. That doesn't add up. That's suspicious to me. One, but two, um, if that's all the growth, then we still have the advantage, Bahamas. We still have it. We have to use that advantage. Use it or lose it. It's simple as that. So I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned because I believe that many of them are going to vote against this government, etc. But I'm concerned with our Bahamian people. You got to be the ones to vote for the change if you want to see that change. You got to do it. No one else is going to do it. All right. So that's the important thing. All right. So let's go back to what we were doing. Oh, the phone lines, we lost them. You can call back 802-5995. I think that they were calling back anyway to let us know that we didn't have sound at that time. All right. But we're back now and the sound is good. There was some up and down glitch in the system. I want to go to some CIA documents. It's Bible study time. I want to read a couple documents. I had touched on this one, but for those of you who didn't see it while I was on Steve McKinney's show, I had touched on this one, but I'm going to read it for you again so that you can see some things. Let me just share the screen for a second. Make sure we have this. Cancel. All right, I want this to be viewed properly. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Make sure you can see this good. Ladies and gentlemen, the document you're seeing is a CIA document, an actual CIA document, because they were considering uh, indicting the prime minister of this. That's in 1988. Just this after Finland had won in 1987, they realized he cheated the election, and they felt, well, maybe it's nothing that you could do. The FNM is too weak, and so maybe we just should lock him up one time. And so this was an actual document where they did a study to see what would happen if they arrested him. All right. And so this is the document that you're seeing on your screen. Let me just look and see how you're seeing it to make sure you're seeing this properly. All right. So, we always have the documents. Okay, you're seeing this very well. Good. All right. So some things are redacted. That's the stuff you see in white. But I wanted to get straight down here. They talked about the impact on Bahamian politics and the economy on if Finland was indicted. And they talked about his party and the loyalty of his cabinet members. I've read this on Steve's show. They talked about Clement Maynard and who was Attorney General, etc. And they talk about the backbenchers. The backbenchers have a duty to keep the government in check, but not in this country. They sit down because they want to keep their job, and they say nothing. Um, and then they talked about the Free National Movement. This is the important part I wanted you to see. All right. It says, moreover, the Free National Movement currently is suffering from weak leadership, just like it is today, and severe financial constraints. So the oligarchs wasn't giving them no money. That seriously undermine its effectiveness as an opposition party. So that weak leadership and severe financial constraints. The same thing the FNM is going through right now. Its members might attempt to open debate in Parliament on Pinling's indictment, but the ruling party probably would counter that the movement itself is tainted by drug related corruption. Did you see that? This is the study America did as they studied our country. This is their study. And what does the study say? The FNM was drug tainted too. So some of y'all think, oh, the PLP more corrupt. No, they're not. The FNM is corrupt in a major way. Plus, they do the same stuff, but they just hide it better. See, most of the people connected and benefiting from the FNM's corruption, most Bahamians aren't on their level, so they'll never be in the conversation to know what they're doing. The PLP works with smaller people, so you end up knowing what's going on. Everyone got a friend, a family member, someone they trust and talk to, and so it gets out there. But those people laughing and doing their dirt with, they ain't talking to you. They're not gonna have any conversations with you. And so that's why you feel that the PLP is worse. Both are just as bad. And if you're honest, you would have seen it. But this is what the US government is saying. This is their document. Moreover, the Free National Movement is suffering from weak leadership and severe financial constraints that seriously undermine its effectiveness as an opposition party. Its members might attempt to open debate in Parliament on Pinling's indictment, but the ruling party probably would counter that the movement itself, meaning the Free National Movement, is tainted by drug-related corruption. Pinling them know it. That's how the US get this information. And the US knew it. Both of them are involved in darkness. This is a US document. So let's stop fooling ourselves that only one party is corrupt and that we must swing from one party to the next one and somehow we get relief. I heard a woman on social media and WhatsApp group saying, "Oh, don't go with Lincoln them right now. We just got to get rid of this corrupt PLP." That's how you get swing every time. Because the person who's saying that was telling us vote for Brave, get rid of that corrupt menace. Now they say, "Oh, get rid of that corrupt Brave." Then they say, "Get rid of that corrupt Pintad." How much times we go back and forth with this? No, we got to fix this. If you look at the CIA documents, the drug problem was a serious problem. But there were some people in government who was willing to stand up, you know. There's some people who was willing to stand up and willing to make sure that this government, this country was going in the right direction. Those are my documents. Well, them documents disappeared. Just like that, the documents disappeared off my screen. How could that happen? That was interesting. Wow. Was my computer hacked? Because all of a sudden documents just disappeared off my screen. Here we get back. Give me a sec, trying to pull up some stuff. Literally had all these documents up and they just disappeared right in front of me now. Okay. All right. I'll just go back and pull them back up. So foreign countries constantly do reports to see what's going on in your country. Um, they look at your economy. They look at the political landscape, what's going on in the country. I want to look at. Did you know that there was actually a cabinet clash in the PLP? There's a reason I want you to see this. I'm going to pull this up for you right now. I just had to go dig the document back up because it literally disappeared off my screen. So I don't know where these technical issues are coming from, but let's keep going. Let's keep pushing, y'all. Okay, this should be it. Yes. All right. So on your screen now, this was when they were studying Pinland. And as we go on, I'm going to read stuff later from Ingram, Christie, all these guys, right? Not in this live, but I just want, we're talking about majority rule today, so that's why I'm talking about Pinland a lot. Cabinet clash. This is another one of their CIA documents. It says Prime Minister Lyndon Pinland has stated in writing his intention to resign over a dispute with his Attorney General, and they redacted part of it. And his Attorney General, I think, was Paul Adley. So, despite having committed himself on paper, because he writing that he was going to resign, because Paul Adley and Eddie Hanna was actually campaigning hard against Pinland within the party. They were telling him, "Listen, you got to go. You didn't get catch. This foolishness we doing, this ain't gonna work." Eddie Hanna was an upstanding person, and he actually campaigned hard against Pinland. And there's documents, CIA documents, that shows that. It says, despite having committed himself on paper, however, he may renege on his decision. His comment that he would wait until after the visit of Queen Elizabeth II is over on February 22nd before stepping down suggests that he is interested in a cooling off period during which the dispute can be settled and his resignation reconsidered. And so they smart. They can see the tricks that our politicians is up to. Only us don't see the tricks. So the U.S. government here is saying when they saw, oh, Finland's put in writing that he could resign, but he said, okay, as soon as the Queen and come and go, then we could do it. They knew he was flamming, and they were right. Says Attorney General Paul Adderley, who doubles as Minister of Foreign Affairs, reportedly forced the confrontation during a cabinet meeting late last month. Adderley wanted to investigate the recent death of a prisoner at the hands of the police and an incident in which 80 pounds of hashish disappeared from the police custody last July. So, as 80 pounds of hashish disappeared from the police. So, we had problems from back then. Finland opposed the investigations, but was not supported. Yeah, I don't know why that happened or why that is happening, but it's like our system is being attacked. Whenever we have these kind of very informative shows, they start to go after us. And normally I fix things up so that but we haven't experienced that for so long that I was complacent today and just setting up quickly. But we should be back up and running now. All right. Hello, you're live.
President, audio drop again.
Okay, should be up now. Check it again.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, what's happening here? Okay, it's back up now, right? Okay, it's back up now. Okay. I was ringing and I can't get whoever it is. Okay, we're back up now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why that is happening. It seems to be under attack. I can literally tell you that those CIA documents disappeared from my screen after I pull up and started reading the first one, and I had to go dig them up somewhere else where they was hidden on my computer. And the audio keeps cutting out. I don't know what's going on. So just bear with us. Whenever we have these kind of informative shows, this kind of stuff happens. All right. So I just want to get back to that document. Call you live.
Mr. President, you seem to be doing well.
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. I'll be as brief as possible.
Yes.
Just as an encouragement, I was talking to a lady down the road from where I am when I walk my dog. She's opening up business with her husband.
Okay.
And we were only talking about the business, and I said, congratulations. And I had on my COI shirt that day. And she said, great shirt, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, yeah, man, this is the only way to go. She said, oh, you don't have to worry. I live in Golden Isles. And as much as I like the F&M candidate, she said, the first time I met Mr. Rule, I already knew that was it. I didn't even have to know him. His personality and his reputation said it all. And before God, I tell you, she said after that, her whole family knew they had to vote COI. And she said, for the by-election, a lot of them, and she's one of them, she said they did not want to vote in the by-election. But they have a surprise. They are going to vote in the big election, other factors.
Yes.
So this is what I'm hearing as I go along my campaign. People are fed up. Some of them just don't want to wear shirts or be seen, but they know in their hearts that the F&M is not going any more results than the PLP.
Yeah.
So,
thank you so much for that.
Okay, have a great night.
All right, God bless you. And yes, that's what we've been hearing. We're back. We're back up and running. We don't know what is happening there, but again, like I said, just bear with us. In public, so just bear with us. I think we're back up now. Okay, yeah, we're back up now. So I want to go to this document. I want to go to this back to this document. I'm gonna go straight back to it. Some of know y'all see this. But let's go back to this document. So much documents, I can't get to all of them today. And let's talk about again. Paul Adley and the cabinet wanted to run an investigation. Now the fact of the matter is that's a police thing. The cabinet shouldn't have to get involved with that. All right? If the police lock up persons for 80 pounds, the stuff went missing, the police should investigate it. They shouldn't need cabinet approval to investigate that. The police is supposed to be autonomous of the government. But of course, it seems like the leadership of the PLP had a different idea from the cabinet ministers. And so they threatened, so they outvoted the prime minister, and then he threatened to resign. I'll read some more of that now. But this is why I wanted you to see that. There are people who say, "Oh, the FNM has a new leader now, so things going to be different." When you have a leader, you gotta do what he says. This Pinlin, this is Sir Lyndon Pinlin, who had one vote in cabinet. The leader of the government, the executive, has one vote. One. Whatever the cabinet do, all of them votes on it. So don't tell me the FNM has a new leader. No. If these guys could vote against Pinlin, remember Ingram telling his people, boy, if you vote against me on BTC, I call election? Remember that? That's because they could vote against him. The cabinet, there's no whip on cabinet. They have whip in House of Assembly, but there's no whip on the cabinet. The prime minister gets one vote, and he can't go and fire everybody from the cabinet. He can't even fire the majority. If that comes out, his government will not be considered legitimate by the international law. Do you understand that? So if Pinta had sat in the cabinet with Minnis while Minnis was doing these stuff, Pintard allowed it. Because Pintard could have done what Adriana eventually did. Resign. Remember Adriana resigned? No. Everything that happened, all of these cabinet ministers that they brought back did it. The majority of the people that the FNM brought back is the same old people. Where you going with Marvin Dames again? Where are you going? Have you found the drones yet? The same people, same Marvin Dames. They come with the same Pintard and Shannon Dawn. They come with the same Dwayne Sands. I don't have to list all of them for you. But look at them. This is the same crew who voted with Minnis. Minnis could not do anything he did without the majority vote. Don't let them fool you. They voted to keep the Dorian supplies from the people of Abaco and Grand Bahama. Imagine all Grand Bahama MPs, cabinet ministers, and not one could stand up to Minnis and say, hey, the Dorian supplies reached, I got to go to our people. Not one. Not one of you stood up and said, no, Abaco, these people suffering. Lincoln Bain and the COI had to jump on the plane and go to Abaco and say, hey, monies was donated to give to each one of these people. Give them their monies. And then Minister, after we exposed them, said, okay, 10,000 if you lose your whole house. 7,500 if it was just damage. And then I forget how much, couple thousand for lesser damage. We had to stand up. The PLP didn't stand up either, you know. They ain't say nothing. They ain't say nothing about nothing. They let ministers do what he want to do. All them ministers together. The COI jump on the plane. We spent our money, you know. Jump on the plane, get hotel room, and went over there. When minister said a month later, Abaco is back to pre-Dorian, 95% back. And we had to go there and say, that's a lie. We had to fight. No one in that cabinet stood up for you, Bahamas. Not Pintard, not the deputy prime minister who was in Grand Bahama at the time. None of them stood up for you. The COI did. Cabinet is collective responsibility. Everything Minnis did, Pintard did. Collective responsibility means all us in this together and we did this together. And if you don't agree with it, you have to resign. Not as an MP, but as a cabinet minister. You can resign and then you can go out and tell the whole world this government doing foolishness. Let's continue to read what went on with Pinlin then. Pinlin probably hoped to force the cabinet to abandon its support for Adderley. And he may have no intention of following through. This is them saying that Pinlin didn't follow through with his resignation. Nevertheless, the dispute will leave a distasteful residue that bodes no good for future cooperation between the two principals. It underscores some fundamental differences between Pinling, the crafty politician, and Ali, the lofty, righteous intellectual, who himself threatened to resign in a previous clash with the prime minister. This man standing up. Who do you see in this PLP government standing up for what is right? No, not one. Who did you see in that Pinta administration standing up for the people? It's a resignation by Pinling would have precipitate a new round of elections. So if Pinling did resign, it would have lead to elections. But the situation is not likely to reach that extreme action, because that means the leader steps down because the dispute. If the entire opposition steps down, you have to go back for a new mandate. This Westminster. Now, Westminster is in such a way that all of the rules are not in writing. They are conventions. Okay? So, for example, when Christie lost the yes vote in Westminster system, he should have resigned. That's how the Westminster system works. You lost the mandate of the people. The people are saying they are against something you did. You're supposed to step down. Just like the Brexit vote, when the prime minister lost, the prime minister had to step down. And you had six prime ministers in 5 years in England because they keep having to step down. That's the rules. You step down. That's a convention. The problem is that is not in writing, so most Bahamians don't understand how it works. When Brave was caught with a situation with Bamsey, when he said it was insured, and he said it in the House of Assembly, if you say something that deceives the House of Assembly, you must step down. But here, they don't step down. They ignore the Westminster system. The Westminster system could work, you know. It works in other countries. It works in England. It works in Canada. It works in other countries. It just don't work for us because they don't honor it because Bahamians don't know the Westminster system. None of this was going on could happen in England or Canada. We'd have had more resignations. Ministers would have to resign 1,000 times. So I just wanted you to understand that if Pinta had wanted, we could have been getting ready for election right now. Because if the opposition resigned, it would have forced a general election. That's the convention. All right? The opposition Free National Movement is attempting to take advantage of the conflict within Finland's Progressive Party by calling for a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. According to a press report, the motion will be debated as soon after the House of Assembly convenes on February 19th. There is little chance, however, that Pinling's representatives would put their own political careers on the line by supporting the opposition's motion, and a no confidence vote seems destined for certain defeat. Um, yeah, so that's. I can't go into more of these documents, but I have them here, and I can tell you that uh, they tried to put a no confidence vote to Pinland at a certain time, 80 candidate, and the opposition refused to support it. The opposition was working with Pinland. They went to the opposition and said, "Man, listen, we could come together and do this no confidence vote, and we could get rid of him because he doing some shady things happening with these drug dealers." The opposition, the leaders of the opposition said no. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So Adriana and Paul are like, hold on, what? We have a chance to get this right to fix this. The opposition refused. They have the CIA document showing that the FNM and Pinland working together. They have the document. All right. If I had more time, I would show you more of these documents. And then another time they came and they did do a no confidence vote, and he survived. Well, that was the previous no confidence vote. But there's all kind of documents where they can see that the FNM and PLP is one. And when it's time, they actually work together. Let me tell you why you need to vote hard for the COI and campaign hard. Because if the PLP and the FNM have enough votes to form the government and the COI has the rest, the PLP and the FNM is going to merge. That's when you can see their true colors, but they could be too late. We need to just get rid of them. We got to make this happen. We got to do this. Bahamas. Let me go back to the phone lines. I know I was reading this stuff and y'all are very interested, but I want to hear from y'all a little bit before we have to end this. 803-5995, that's the only number we got today. 803-5995 is the number. Call in. What do y'all think about this stuff? All right. What do y'all think about this? All right. So page 11. What's the date on this? Yeah, what do y'all think about this stuff? What do you have to say? 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number. So call us in. Call us in and let's talk. All right. Call us 803-5995. You know, they have other man, I got so much documents I wish y'all could see where they talk about what was going on at the time. Adriana really stood up. Paul Adley really stood up. You know, they really even fought, even at convention. I want you all to see this. I'm going to show you all where um, the FNM refused to work with Adriana, even though he wanted to do the right thing. Good afternoon, Call you live. Call you live. Okay, we lost them. You can call back 803-5995. Let me share the screen for you so that you can see this. I want you to see this. This is, again, another one of those documents. CIA's Latin America group. The Bahamas, Finland still on top. They talked about his position and what was going on. Let me just read this. Let me just read this for you. I think it's worth to read. This is majority rule, and I want you to remember what really went down and the fact that the majority never ruled, and now those who are the majority is now going to not be the majority as foreigners are now taking this country over. But let me just read this. It's interesting documents. All right. Despite pressure from both the ruling the ruling and opposition parties. So he was getting pressure from his own party and the opposition. Despite pressure from both the ruling and opposition parties, Prime Minister Lyndon O'Pillin remains firmly in control of the government. His recent re-election as leader of the ruling Progressive Liberal Party and the inability of the weak opposition party to pose a strong challenge tends to discount rumors that Pinling will resign from office in the near term. Again, it was calling the opposition weak, but that was intentional. Although the Prime Minister may face serious charges when a commission of inquiry into government corruption presents its report later this year, we believe that he is determined to remain in office and will take whatever steps he deems necessary to maintain his position. In September 1983, an NBC News report alleged that senior government officials, including the Prime Minister, had accepted bribes to protect drug smuggling operations in the islands. In response, Pinling called for the formation of a Royal Commission of Inquiry to investigate the charges. Although the commission originally was expected to finish hearing testimony in June 1984 and to present its findings in September, proceedings did not progress as quickly as hoped. As a result, commission members now anticipate releasing the report in late December, and the rest that was redacted. The investigation reportedly has failed to find any evidence directly linking Pinling to drug payoffs. Nevertheless, a number of financial irregularities, most notably Pinling's acceptance of a large finder's fee for the sale of a government-owned bridge. The Prime Minister get the finder's fee for the sale of a government-owned. How you sell a bridge? Like we got a bridge to sell you. Like that's like a that's that's like a metaphor for a scam. But anyway, for the sale of a government-owned bridge and the resultant unfavorable coverage in the foreign press have severely damaged Finland's public and party support. Again, redacted. The resignation on 8 the 8th of October of Deputy Prime Minister Arthur Hanna, the man stood up. Pintar didn't do that. Dames didn't do it. No one in the FNM did it. But they back. The October 8th resignation of A.D. Hanna, leader of the anti-Pinlin faction in the ruling party. A.D. Hanna stood up for what was right. And he told Pinlin, no man, we get catch. We got to stand down. Pinlin say, okay, I can resign. All us resign. But what to do? You resign first. I get everything in order. And then I can resign after that. He swing Adiana. Adiana did the honorable thing. He resigned. And Pinlin stayed on with Adiana out of the way now. Let me read that again. The resignation on the 8th October of Deputy Prime Minister Arthur Hanna, leader of the anti-Pinlin faction in the ruling party, apparently was designed to set the stage for an effort by dissident party members to oust Pinlin, with a call for a vote of no confidence when Parliament convened on October 10th. All right, so Eddie Hanna and them wanted a vote of no confidence in Pinlin. All right. Hanna's plan for a vote of no confidence was scuttled by the refusal of the opposition Free National Movement to cooperate. You see it in writing? It's in writing. The FNM, if you feel Pinlin is so bad, and he doing this and he doing that, and you're speaking up and asking questions and everything, but when it's time to actually take action against him, the FNM said, no, let him say. We want to talk, but we don't want to do nothing. That reminds me of the FNM today. You'll tell them, take action, they'll stand up and ask all kind of questions. And then you say, okay, use the powers of the PAC, subpoena them, take them before the courts, use judicial reviews against them. No, we don't do nothing. We don't actually do nothing. We just want to talk, so we can say we talk. And then we'll wait our turn. They come do the same thing. And Bahamians keep falling for it. You see this here? A.D. Hanna said if the FNM come on board, we could have a vote of no confidence and Pinlin will be gone. After all that noise making, the FNM said, no. We like Pinlin. Don't mind us. We ain't here to win. We like... You see it for yourself in writing. Lacking the support of opposition parliamentarians needed to topple Pinlin, Hanna apparently abandoned the plan. Pinlin then moved to strenuous control of the party during the organization's convention in late October. They redacted that part of it. They didn't want you to see what they was actually said, what they actually was singing. The strength of Pinlin's support within the party was demonstrated when his hand-picked candidate for the party chairmanship defeated the incumbent, a strong Hanna supporter, by an overwhelming 302 to 107 margins. I want you to see the U.S. is be watching everything. So everyone who's supporting Hanna Pinlin pushed out. With Pinlin's control of the party stronger than ever, and those most tainted by the commission hearings removed from leading government and party positions, the Prime Minister is now likely to focus on developing a strategy to deal with the results of the commission report. Pinlin probably calculates that many of the accusations will be discounted because the testimony consists largely of unsubstantiated third-party evidence, much of it from convicted criminals and known drug traffickers. The postponement of the report's release is likely to work in Pinlin's favor. Over a year already has lapsed since the initial accusations were made, and public interest probably will continue to wane in a few months. Choose not to release the entire report. The chances of a leak make this a risky tactic. The report, it is scheduled to be released in Parliament and the Attorney General's office, although Attorney General Paul Laley has warned that he will pursue legal action against Pinlin if there is strong evidence of wrongdoing. We believe that Adley is unlikely to do so. So even Adley was saying, listen, as Attorney General, I got to lock up Pinlin. Ali is politically vulnerable because he is the only cabinet minister not holding an elected seat in parliament, and he can be dismissed by the prime minister at any time. So he didn't have a seat. A lot of us forget that. He was there through the Senate. Although such a move would imply guilt on Pilling's part, it is a risk he probably would be willing to take if the commission's report further damages his reputation. If he took such action, Pinlin would also probably estimate that Adley's unpopularity, his arrogance, has gained the attorney general many enemies, and both the ruling and opposition parties, would dampen any public disapproval of the dismissal. You see how deep they look into this stuff? Are they paying attention to this? Only us ain't paying attention. Now, all of the rest of this, I think, was redacted. No, that's it. All right. So I just wanted you to see that. I got a whole slew of documents here because I am a student of history, and I would encourage all of you to study your history. Don't just listen to what the politicians say or wait for them to come with arm in Turkey. Study your history. All right. Study what's really going on in the country. So I wanted you to see those examples of those things because I wanted you to understand how government really works. Don't let them come and fool you and say they have to have a new leader. That seems to be different now. That's the same cabinet who voted for everything Minutes did. Don't mind them saying Minutes was acting like a one-man band. That's a lie. They voted to get on all of those things. Oh, he was the competent authority. No, he couldn't do nothing, including make the position of competent authority without them. They were having cabinet meetings every Tuesday and voting on all of these stuff. Don't mind them playing crazy. All right? And so that's what I wanted you all to see. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the PLP and FNM are one. Someone says, so why Glenn Santa Martin still in the same corrupt party? Stand up like your dad did. Exactly. 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 None of them are signing up. They're enjoying the fruits of the country, and they're benefiting, living high on the hog off of us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year. This is your one chance to make a difference and make a change. Not just by voting, but by helping us to get there. Support this movement. Don't sit down and say, Lincoln, you all do this, you all do this, you all do this. No. What you do is what matters, not what we do. What you do is what counts. You have to go there and spread the word, spread the message, talk to your family and friends, get them to tune in every Sunday at 5 o'clock. We will be here. On the 25th, we're going to be releasing our shadow ministers. Now, watch Pinta them. They're going to try in that 2-week period to try to do some stuff to make themselves relevant to counter what we're doing because they copy us all the time. But that's what we're going to do. Pay attention, listen to the vision, and see what we got. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is your one chance to make a difference. This is your one chance to transform this nation. What are you going to do is the question. We need you to fight for this. Support the movement. Support the movement. You can go to our website and you can support the movement. Every party needs funding. You can support us by coming out and walking with us. If you're in Pinewood and you want to walk with me, send me a text or WhatsApp, 8035995. Just make sure in there say walk, so I could, when I do search, because I get so much text, I'll search for walk. And if you're in Pinewood, or if you're in another constituency and you want to help us walk, let's go. Let's do this. We're going to start walking this week. We need your help. Let's come take this. If you're in a constituency, any constituency, come out and help one of our candidates. If you're in Freetown, if you're in Elizabeth, wherever you are, you come to our headquarters and let them know that you want to be a part. Our headquarters is open every day. And come be a part. Help us transform this country. Because if we don't win this now, it's over. Let me show you, and this last thing I'm going to show you for the day, what's at stake, Bahamas. Let me show you what's at stake. You know, these fellas know that everything that I've been saying to the Bahamian people is true. They know it, you know. I, everything I've said about the carbon credits, everything I've said about the natural resources is true. But they don't want you to benefit from it because then you won't be a slave to them anymore. Everything I've said about the crown land is true. None of them can say it isn't true. You heard when they got in power before election, they were saying the carbon credits isn't real, it's a scam, etc. Then when they got into power, you literally heard them talking about how it'll be worth $33 trillion. That's the Minister of Works said that. The Minister of Works said it. Now I knew that, but I wouldn't dare say anything like that because they would say, "What Lincoln talking about? That don't make no sense." But that was the words of the minister. I wonder if I could pull that up for you. You heard him say it yourself. Yeah, let's pull that up for you. This is Alfred Says.
Data, Mr. Deputy, that, for example, the fastest growing area of the international economy is carbon trading. And if we look at the latest publication of Bloomberg, we will see that it is predicted that by 2030, this particular market of carbon trading will reach up to $33 trillion.
He said the fastest growing industry in the international community in the whole world. We got the biggest chunk of it. He said $33 trillion. It's the worth. He said in 2030. But many of you thinking of 2030 like that's so far. That's 4 years from now. We need to get in there.
And we are at the vanguard. 33 trillion, and I'll share it with you. 33
He'll
trillion
share it. He got the documents. He got the proof.
in terms of the growth. Because, and if we look at it, the global economy, if we look at the G20 countries, 19 of the G20 countries have enacted emission control legislation. In China, laws are being legislated to control emission. Throughout the United States, in most of the states of the United States, laws have been passed to control the emission of CO2. So what we see then is that because there's a global recognition that all of us are in peril, most especially island nations.
I'll leave it there. It's longer than that. This man is presenting after they told everyone that Lincoln made a selling dreams, they got in power and they're telling the Bahamas how much it's worth. And then they went and they're starting to form companies to try to steal it from us technically, virtually, so that we don't get nothing. It's worth 156 billion, the seagrass alone. And we're saying that this can't happen. Listen, if your dad leaves an acre of property for you, for you and your siblings, and you go on that property and you find gold on that property, the gold is worth $1 million. You're a millionaire. Now you have to go and dig it up and take it to market, do something with it. But why don't you do that? Why are you going to just sit there and say, yeah, but that's just the value of the property. That's just the value of what's on the property. We don't really have that. Why don't you go get it? It is certified that we can get from the Seagrass loan $156 billion. Why don't we just go get 10 billion of that if we want to think small? Why don't we get 50 billion of that if we want to think small? We are ready to take this country forward into the next Bahamas using what we have. This is the last one I'm going to play for you today. I know we had a long educational session today, but I want to let you hear from the grave. The grave is going to speak to you now. It's a message from the grave. And I think you should listen to this message because it's from the grave. Listen carefully.
So welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Good evening to you. Good evening to your listening audience. Thanks for having me. Exciting, very interesting times. I've always been a firm advocate for our natural resources. And there are several things that was always fundamental to me. One, the natural resources of our country belongs to the people of our country, to the Bahamian people. And secondly, I've always advocated, not specifically knowing it, but I always felt that our new streams of revenue would emerge from our natural resources.
Well, we see that because we see that report say 100 billion. But before you even go forward, I want to talk about that because we hear the potential, the natural resources, the revenue, that what they can do for this economy. But I like what you said. Why not? Yes, have it assist the economy and help with in infrastructure development and the rest of it. But the individual Bahamian should be able to benefit.
No, as I said, I've always been a firm advocate, always, that it belongs, fundamentally, the resources of the country belongs to the people, and the people ought to be the primary beneficiaries. I've always...
So that wasn't just Lincoln Bain. You should benefit individually. Individually, you should benefit. The politicians know the value of what we have, but they're going to spend the next few months on smear campaign and talking about who is bad and who is good, who's worthy, who ain't worthy. You're safe with this one. Keep voting for this one. They're going to say brave, bad, don't vote for him, vote for us. All of this stuff, but they're not going to talk about your benefits. That's what we could talk about. And if you choose to continue to make politicians rich, that's on you. Let's finish here from the grave.
Always maintain that position. With the natural resources, at the time, most of us who were advocates, the focus was really, a lot of the talk, most of the talk was aragonite or salt or pine forests or other areas. And then I started hearing and to read about our mangroves. And I didn't hear about our seagrass until even after that. And then you started hearing the talk of carbon and carbon trading and everything around carbon and
where does the
climate
seagrass
change.
come in? Because I've not heard that one before. Where does the seagrass come in, and what is the seagrass and its potential to make up that 154 billion projected income?
Of course, projected. Of course, it's potential. The potential is there. Haven't been actualized, but the potential is there. And they're giving an estimate, so you can't really say. But obviously, their estimate is on what some persons would say on the very positive or the high side of the scale. Other persons differ, but that's not here or there. The fact is, we believe there's tremendous potential there. Now, with regards to our natural resources and the seagrass, in the world of carbon and carbon credits and whole talk of climate change and the greenhouse gas effect, of which carbon is one of the gases that really contributes, and then you have warmer climates, you have the melting of the glaciers, then you have these more fierce storms, example, Dorian.
That we experienced just a couple years ago, yeah.
Dorian.
Even the rains and the flooding and all the stuff that's happening
all
right
of
now.
this, climate related. Now, in the Bahamas, mangroves, well, forests, basically are carbon sinks. Because as you know, we exhale carbon, the plants, they exhale oxygen, which we need. So it's that exchange between us and
very
plant.
necessary exchange.
Now, our mangroves, they retain far more of the carbon than our terrestrial plants, forests do. Also, our seagrass, it's exponentially more. And so,
we have a healthy set of mangroves. I've covered, as a reporter, I've covered stories where the
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave that there. You know the story. This is it. 2026 is the year that you choose to go 50 years forward or 50 years backwards. This is it. This is the year that we make the decision if we're going to let them take over or if we're going to take control of this country. The politicians have failed us. We're going to listen to see what the Prime Minister has to say tomorrow. Hopefully, he is either resigning or is going to call an election. But for those of you who say we just need to get rid of the PLP and go to the FNM, that's not the way. You know that deep down in your heart. You feel that, oh, this crew is so bad, we've been falling for that. And that has got us nowhere as a country. It's got worse every single time. Every time. It has not gotten any better. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are serious about this nation, let's fight for this. It's time to enter the battlefield. It's time to join us. And so, for those in Abaco, let me see if they send me the details. If not, you can look on our Coalition of Independence Facebook page and you will see the information. All right, let me take this call.
National Trust, Bahamas National Trust, want to protect the mangroves, etc.
Yes.
But the seagrass that you mentioned and the mangroves, we have a healthy amount all throughout this country.
Okay, go ahead. They can hear you now.
Yeah, I was saying, nigga, I watched a documentary about downtown Bay Street in 1964. That's 61 years ago, Lincoln. 61 years. Bay Street was so clean you could eat off the ground. Everybody dressed in their nice coat suits and felt hats and nice cars and everything, right?
Yes.
You go downtown look like a garbage. Okay, all around Nassau. It just come from Nassau, Lincoln. Everywhere I go, big rat running across the road, old cars. If a disease break out in this country, plenty people's gonna die. Plenty people's gonna die, Lincoln. I don't understand my people.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna end up 60 years backward. Lincoln, these people ain't understanding what's going on. These months ain't care for us. They ain't care for us, Lincoln.
Yeah.
You know, they won't see us die. You know,
the whole country is falling apart. Bay Street is just a mess. The whole country is a mess. Harbor Island isn't what it used to be. Abaco isn't what it used to be. The whole country is falling apart. Alutra, Bimini isn't what it used to be. The whole country is deteriorating right before our eyes, and we're like just sitting down letting it happen because we just support our parties.
Right before our eyes, and people clapping, PLP harm and turkey cars lying off from Lightfoot Key to Fox and Baham and Turkey. You know, and the people them's very ignorant. This is what they want. They don't understand it. They don't understand why people can't see different, man.
Wow.
I don't know, boy. I don't know.
All right, we gotta go. We gotta sign off now. Thanks for your call. All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say. But we're gonna be in this fight. We're gonna do what we have to do. We ask you to support us. Spread the message. If that's all you can do, evangelize. Get the message out there that a new Bahamas is coming. We're gonna show you how we can transform this nation. We're gonna show you how it can be done. It can be done. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna own the hotels. That was Penland's dream, you know. In fact, they actually spent money. I have documents where they started to do that. Let me take this last call. Call you live. Go ahead. Go ahead. Call you live. I can't hear you, caller. You got to speak up.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, just one question. I just want to put one thing out there for you, sir. If you could do a comparison for me, the amount of monies that be taken from tourism, about, okay, so this is 7 million to 9 million tourists a year, compared to how much money we spend with regards to purchasing food from abroad. You see, I want to do this because we compare now what is our number one industry compared to what is our most essential thing, is food for our people. Yeah, just do a comparison for that. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, and I'll do that. I'll break it down for you, and I'll come back with the actual numbers for you next week because I actually think that that is an intelligent thing to do. I'm going to show you now some other numbers. You know, I was going to save it, but I'm going to show you some other numbers. This is how serious it is. 'Cause we live in a country where they have no vision, and that's the reason why we are in the situation that we're in. Um, I have less than 15 minutes left. I got to get off of here. Um, give me a sec. I'm trying to pull it up. All right. Let me pull this up for you. I'm going to show you the difference in thinking. Let me share the screen quickly. These guys are only talking about collecting taxes and making us pay for everything and waiting for foreign investors. Let me show you where the real money is and the real investment. So NIB has invested about $1.6 billion, right? Okay, where did that go? $1.6 billion. And that's a good investment that they have out there. But I think it shows the lack of vision. Um, Call you live. Go ahead.
Good night, Mr. Bain. How you doing?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm a Bahamian and a proud one at that.
Awesome. Me
I
too.
just called to tell you I visited someone in the hospital lately, like in the last week or something like that. These jokers in Parliament, that man need to resign. The Minister of Health need to resign. Everything is broken down in the hospital. You can't even find wheelchairs that work. You can't find workers that work. They are short. People need to work. The places where the people working are broken down. Everything in the hospital is broken down. What do they function? How do they function?
And I don't blame them. I blame us because we keep voting for it.
Unacceptable, man.
It is.
That's unacceptable in this day and age. They want travel to where this African country is and pay $200,000 for a man to be in London. They want to do all kinds of things. But they don't want to deal with this Bahamaland and Bahamians. It is
Shameful.
wrong.
Yeah.
My husband was the porter. He had to reel the people in. I said, this is unacceptable. I said, where's the manager? Where's the supervisor? Nobody is around. And guess what? They have a lot of these young doctors that are in training that they have here dealing with our people, not the old set or to train them. They have them unsupervised right here. What you call it? Russian roulette with the lives of the Bahamian people. Go on the ward to see what those people are working with. Everything leaking, everything break down. International people, they should be ashamed of that hospital. The Minister of Health needs to resign.
Yeah.
He's not doing his job, and then they tell him they putting VAT on the back of our back, 15% more. Then they tell us that they're building a new hospital which only for pregnant people, and they want tax us for that. Fuck your mom.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Well, if the F&M or the PLP gets in, you're going to have income tax, so you'll have something else to celebrate. You're going to have income tax, all right? That's just what it's going to be. And so you're going to have income tax plus VAT, plus customs, plus, what do you call it, property tax. Well, we're getting rid of property tax for your private home. And so you shouldn't have to pay property tax for your. That means you're renting from the government. You never really own that home. And so we're going to get rid of that. But you're going to have more stress if you let the FNM or PLP get in. But I just want to show you this quickly. I just want you to see the difference in thinking. NIB invested $1.6 billion. All right. If they had invested just $1 billion, because they did invest in some tech stocks, but only about 20 something million dollars worth, which is just nonsensical. They invested the bulk of the money in their own businesses. They took our NIB money and put it in the brewery and their companies that they own in Focal, et cetera, et cetera. And they took the money from NIB. And that's what they did. All right. But look at this. Look at this documentation that I put together for you. I did this. All right. This is just a hypothetical thing. If you took $1 billion and invested in top performing tech stocks. So they had shares in Google and that kind of stuff, but not enough. And then they just sold it off. The F&M just sold it off and got rid of it. And then bought shares in F&M companies per se. That's the party that they want to come back to see a difference. But anyway, if they had done that, look at these numbers. If they had invested $1 billion, $1 billion, call it, just hold the line until I'm finished. Hold the line. If they had invested $1 billion, the end value of that investment from 2016 to now, if they just take 10 years and invested that $1 billion, then I ain't talking about the whole these billions to invest, just 10 years. That would have now been, that 1 billion would have turned into $50 billion. If the PLP as they were leaving or the FNM as they had come in had invested 1 billion of NIB money, this ain't government money because the government can actually do this on a bigger scale. They could have borrowed $1 billion, invested it on the tech market, and that 1 billion would have turned into 50 billion. They could have paid the little 4% interest rate like nothing. Profit. Even Trump is saying they're going to take the tariff money, invest it in the market, put it in sovereign wealth fund. Come on, man. Trump is now talking about giving $100,000 to everyone in Greenland. He's giving money to the children. Every American who's born, they're going to put money in the endowment fund so that when they reach 18, they get $750,000. No sound? Yeah, the sound. You could hear it. But you listening to it. Yeah, so we're still up. Sorry about that. All right, so look at the profits that they would have made. This is what we're going to be doing as a country. All right? NVIDIA alone went up over 2,300%. NVIDIA, that's the company that deals with AI. All right? Oh, I'm sorry. I closed it. Let me stop sharing that. And if they had invested in the top stocks on the whole, it would have actually been gone from a billion to 55 billion. Come on, Bahamas. Let's wake up, man. We need a new kind of government with a new vision to take us forward. This is the 21st century. We're in a quarter way through. All of these countries are booming. Burkina Faso is building freeways out of dirt roads. Come on, Bahamas. Give someone else a chance to take us forward. We can't be sitting back waiting on foreign investors. You can't try to sell a hotel. We wouldn't sell that hotel. We're going to have hotels all over this country. Wait for our 5 days of vision. And our shadow ministers, you're going to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward. Let me take this last caller. Call you got like 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yes. Speaking of, good evening, Mr. Bain. Speaking of property tax, I'm thinking that property tax should have a cap on it. Real estate, whatever. For the poor, there should be, let's say a person owns a house. The house is worth $250,000.
Let me help you with that. There will be no property tax for Bahamians in the New Bahamas. Zero.
What about the rich people? What about the rich ones with the million-dollar homes and so forth?
No Bahamian is going to pay property tax because that means that the government still owns your property. You have to pay to them like they are the landlords every year. No Bahamian is going to pay. I don't care if their house is worth $1 million because most of us can have $1 million houses in New Bahamas. 156 billion a year from carbon credits, and we could be poor. That ain't happen. And so there will be no property tax for Bahamians' homes. All right. Now for your business and that kind of stuff, that's different. For foreigners, that's different. Foreigners can pay tax. All right, but the Bahamians will not pay any property tax in the New Bahamas.
You answered my question.
Thank you so much.
That's fair.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to wrap it up there. There's so much I wanted to talk about and show you. But of course, we're going to be doing this every Sunday at 5. Next week, you can come and join us in studio. Let's continue this conversation. Come and be here. Come and meet some of our candidates. But on the 25th, remember, we're going to have... starting on the 25th, we're going to have 5 days of vision. 5 days of vision. We're going to release our shadow ministers, and we're going to introduce them to you. Let me take this last call. Call you live. Go ahead. We're going back to the Movable Property Act. All right. Yeah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, 5 days of vision. 5 days of vision. We can't say all of our plans in one sitting, but every day we're gonna introduce a few of our, maybe 4 or 5 of our shadow ministers or shadow ministries, and you're gonna hear from them, and we're gonna introduce them to you, and we're going to talk a little bit about the vision for their area. So we're looking forward to that. Make sure you're a part of that. That's going to take place in 2 weeks. Next week, you can come and join me in studio while I'm doing the live, educating the Bahamian public, and getting ready for the New Bahamas. We are meeting with professionals from all around the world as we plan the New Bahamas, educators, investors, businessmen. So we're ready. We're going to be ready from day one. All right. So we have to tune out now. We've done almost 3 hours. We're minutes away from 3 hours. And I want to thank you for tuning in as you always do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Don't mind what you've seen or what you think other people are going to do. You vote for what you think is right. Don't vote for what you think other people could do. Let's make this happen. Don't let them fool you to say, oh, only the FNM have a chance to get rid of this PLP. No, vote for us and we'll do it. As simple as that. We don't need the FNM or the PLP. The PLP being there is the FNM being there, and vice versa. Get the COI in there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. See you next time. God bless you. We love you. I do this because I love my country and I love my people. No other reason. There's no other agenda. I'm going to fight for my Bahamian people with my last breath. Thank you all for tuning in. See you next time.